So a ballot measure in SeaTac, Washington, in the SeaTac area of Washington, and that's a suburb of Seattle, has just passed the highest minimum wage in America. The highest minimum wage. Now, what is it? $9, $10, $11? Nope, not 11. $12. Come on, $12 minimum wage. No, not $12. $13. No, $15. They have passed a $15 minimum wage in Washington. How progressive has Washington been lately? Legalizing marijuana. And now a $15 minimum wage. Yes, it's just in the Seattle-Tacoma area. But this works. This could spread. And that's awesome. Now, the vote was really, really close, of course. Now, it's a really small area, too. But this cleared by a 77-vote margin. And it still has the capability of being challenged. But it has been confirmed that this has passed. Now, what's funny is that business and labor groups, they spent a ton of money on this. They dropped $2 million on this ballot initiative. Both business and labor groups, with the lion's share actually being labor groups. So in this case, big money has actually benefited the workers instead of hurt them. You can't really go wrong with that. Now, another funny thing is that this town, this part, SeaTac, is only home to 12,000 people. So, just imagine that huge amount of money to sway the votes of 12,000 people. $2 million. And to put it in comparison, to put it into context, the amount spent on this ballot initiative was more than two candidates that ran for mayor of Seattle. They spent more on one ballot initiative than two mayoral elections for Seattle. That is crazy. This bill is going to be tied to inflation. So not only are you getting a $15 minimum wage, but you're tying that to inflation. So it will always be worth that much money, even if the cost of living goes up. That's fantastic. Now, another thing about this bill is that smaller businesses were exempt from this. So I don't want to hear this bullshit about you're hurting small business. You're going to kill small business. Well, small business, exempt from this. It's only the big guys that they're going after. The Walmarts, the McDonald's, those places, that's who you're going after. Now, the law also would apply only to certain employers in and around Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. So, you've got your exemptions there for small businesses and certain other businesses. So, there you go. But ultimately, this is going to put more money in the pockets of regular people, which will help business, especially small business. But, of course, you know that a lot of these groups that were going against this initiative, they always say things like, yeah, but you're going to increase the price of products, and nobody's going to be able to afford anything. We'll be right back to where we started, because you're just going to see this huge jump in prices. Well, that's not entirely true. Prices will go up, but some academic papers and studies done on the effects of the minimum wage, they only show a modest price increase from increasing the minimum wage. For example, a 10% increase in the wage equals a 0.4 to 0.7% increase in prices. So when you look at that increase, it's really not that much because it's offset by the benefits of raising the minimum wage. And that's something that people have to understand. Yes, it's true. It will raise prices. But do you know how much? When you look at the numbers, you realize that no, it's not going to be a dramatic increase of prices. A Big Mac is not going to cost $10. Okay? Maybe $1 more at the most. But guess what? A lot more people will be able to buy them Not only that, but you'll actually be able to buy better food. Not only that, but this will help small business, as people will actually want to shop at small businesses. You see, small businesses, they usually charge more. They're not Walmart. Walmart gets all of their stuff from China. They get cheap shit. And they make their own cheap shit, so they can sell it cheap. Small businesses, they can't do that. They don't have the connections. They don't have the government connections either. So they can get their stuff, and they can sell it cheaper than a normal store. But you put more money into people's pockets, and they will be able to actually shop at those small businesses instead of shopping at Walmart. And that's going to help to the community, because that's going to get across to the community. The money is going to stay in the community, not leave. Not end up going into some Washington lobbyist's pocket that is owned by Walmart. That's not going to happen. And for the people who say, yeah, but you're going to lose jobs. They're going to offshore your jobs. They're going to outsource your jobs. No, you're not. That's not going to happen. Do you think that they can offshore McDonald's? Do you think they can outsource Walmart more than they already do? They actually still need people in the stores. Besides, speaking of Walmart and McDonald's, you know they have franchises overseas, right? They have overseas franchises, and they do just fine in places that do have a higher minimum wage. Take, for example, Australia. McDonald's is there, and you know what? They're profitable. And the people, the workers are profitable. So it drives me crazy when people are against the minimum wage, against raising the minimum wage, because they are misinformed, or they think that all low-wage workers are lazy and should get a better job. Well, speaking of jobs, where are the jobs? Where are the jobs? And also, on the topic of jobs, they also say, right-wing pundits and people who don't understand, people who are ignorant to this whole thing, they say that you're going to kick out all the younger people. You're going to replace them with, you're going to price them out of the market. Well, according to studies, youth unemployment is already really, really high. They've already been priced out, or I should say not priced out, but they've been pushed out by people who are older and who lost their jobs during the financial crisis of 2008. Now, remember that financial crisis, that was not caused by minimum wage workers. It was caused by multi-billion-dollar CEOs and bankers. Those are the guys that crashed our economy, and that's why a lot of middle-class people have lost their jobs, and that is why most of them now have pushed out the younger kids from their jobs at McDonald's and have now taken 2 or 3 jobs just to support their families. That's the truth of it. That's what's going on. And the effect of raising the minimum wage, unemployment is negligible. Studies have shown that there is no effect. No effect on employment. Actually, no bad effects on employment. It actually helps employment. According to a research by economists David Card and Alan Kruger, in 60% of the states that raised the minimum wage during the periods of high unemployment, job growth actually increased faster than the national average. You raise the wage, you give people money, you put money in people's pockets, and they will spend it, and that will grow the economy. The U.S., we're an economy, we're a service economy, and we're built on consumerism. We're a consumer economy. We go out and buy things. That is why when 9/11 happened, Bush told us to go shopping. That's why things like Black Friday are so important to the national culture. That's why marketing and ads is such an important part of our society, because that is how our economy functions. We don't make anything anymore. We hardly make anything here in America anymore. But we buy things. That's what our economy is sustained upon. And so if you want people to buy things, then you're going to have to pay them enough so that they can afford things. It's common sense. It's economics. And yet there are people out there that have no fucking clue, that listen to talking heads like John Stossel on the Fox Business Network, as if there is a people's network, to borrow that phrase from a friend over at Truth Mashup, Dan Spearin. As if there is a Fox People's Network. Exactly. They're saying things like youth unemployment. Well, we already debunked that. And looking at the youth unemployment, that's a huge problem. Now, according to a study by the Opportunity Nation Coalition, there are 6 million people aged 16 to 24 not in school or working. So they're not sitting in a desk, and they're not on the job. They can't find work. Maybe if you put more money into people's pockets and they can spend it and create better jobs, those kids, those people in that age bracket won't be left out. We're looking at a lost generation right now, people. A lost generation of people that, because within that age group, 16 to 24, that's when you start getting your most marketable skills. That's when you start getting your skills so that you can be in the market, so that you can get a career. And there's a lot of talented people out there, but they can't get jobs. They can't get jobs because there's not enough demand. Look, and there's more positive effects to raising the minimum wage as well. Okay, now that we've debunked some of the negative shit that you hear, let's hear some of the positive things. Now, raising the wages will actually, according to Nick Hanauer, who is a billionaire, he says that it will add $450 billion into the economy each year. And that's raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour nationally. The Economic Policy Institute shows that a $15 minimum wage would benefit 51 million workers and indirectly benefit 30 million workers. There's 81 million workers. That is 64% of the workforce that this will benefit. All those 1.4 million Walmart workers, immediately. All the people working at McDonald's, all the people in low-wage jobs will directly benefit. And then communities will also benefit. Small business owners will benefit because people won't be forced to shop at Walmart because they get paid poverty wages. They will actually be able to shop at small businesses because they can afford small business products that are often more higher quality anyway. Those who shop at Walmart can barely afford to shop anywhere but Walmart. It's a great self-sustaining business model, but it's terrible for the community. And it's terrible for the country. And it just increases the problem of wealth inequality that we have. And we have a major problem with wealth inequality. And that's another thing that a lot of people don't understand and don't want to address. Well, how do the American people feel about the minimum wage? Now, according to a Gallup poll, 76% of Americans want to raise the wage to at least $9 an hour. Well, CTAC has actually done a lot better than that. They said, yeah, $9, not enough. $15, go. Raise that wage. And really, the minimum wage, if adjusted for productivity, would be $21.67 an hour. And if the minimum wage had the spending power that it did in 1968, the minimum wage would be at least $10. We are way behind, America. We are way behind. And the only way to dig ourselves out is to help the least among us. Not through government programs. No, if you raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour, or hell, even above $10 an hour, you're already going to reduce the people on government assistance. You're going to be able to get rid of some of these government programs because people will actually be able to afford to live without these government programs. Like I said, the people who are against raising the minimum wage are those who would lose out on just a little bit. In the short term, mind you. Because this is all about short-term profits. If you increase the minimum wage, those people are also going to do better. Rich people will also do better. The government will do better. Rich people will do better. Poor people will do better. Small businesses will do better. You don't hear any of this, though, when you listen to Fox News. You don't hear any of this on right-wing radio. You don't hear a lot of these facts. It's because that they have a vested interest in short-term profits. And that's what's really driving the conversation. It's all about the short-term gain. And they don't care. They don't care about their workers. They don't care about their people. They don't care. And that's why they fight against these things. But I think that the minimum wage being raised to $15 an hour in Washington, it's going to spread. It's going to, I think once people realize that it's going to only help in that area, it's going to spread. You're going to get a minimum wage increase. And I'm glad they were able to do it at the local level. I keep saying over and over again, that's how you get things done. And you know what? They got it done. They have a $15 minimum wage. Now can we see it happen more? Hey, thanks for watching this video. Please leave a comment below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button and share with your friends. If you want to see more, go to our channel at youtube.com/TYTNation. And if you really want to support the show, support this channel, go to our fundraising campaign at www.patreon.com/TYTNation. The website is in the description below. Thank you guys, and keep watching.